so happy to see that good crowd over here. And the very first thing I realized was the experience of the crowd is very varied. And this is something which I was talking to Mansi as well earlier, that when I come to Delhi in any of the clubs, the very first thing which entices me is the youth of the crowd, the young boys and girls who are there in the crowd. And there are few experienced ones as well. And these are the ones who really make me comfortable, apart from the uncomfortable ones. I remember some of the things which have been said in some of the earlier keynotes while I was here during the 100th meeting, if I remember it correctly. But I'm not going to talk about those scenarios. I'm here to talk about some happy and good memories so far in Toastmasters. So recently I got an opportunity to be there at the World Championship of Public Speaking. Am I audible to class? Yeah. So recently I got an opportunity to be there at the World Championship of Public Speaking. Where was it held? It was in Philadelphia, right? So it was in Philadelphia. Last year it was in Anaheim, California. And the very first thing which I noticed during these speeches are, these are some of the prolific speakers in the semi-finals and finals. And I could not exactly say at what role I was there, but I was one of the contest officials in these semi-finals and finals. While I was sitting there and noticing and witnessing these prolific speakers, I realized that these guys are way better than how we speak. At least I can speak for myself. And the leaders who are there playing the role of contest chair, chief judge, and they're doing so great presentation over the stage that we feel somehow that there are some things which we are missing in our lives. But this is something which I never felt for the very first time. I know my shortcomings, I know my weaknesses, I know what are the things I'm good at and what are the things I need to improve upon. I never feel that these are some things which probably put me in a self-doubt. And this is something which I would like to encourage and say to you all as well, that there are some good speakers, for example, Manish, Tushar, Himani, they presented their speech. And if you think that you are like even 5%, 10% less than how they have delivered speech, don't take it as a self-doubt on yourself. Probably just set this as a bar and make sure that you are climbing up the ladder. Make sure that you are having to witness so many other such speakers as well. But that was a story related to Philadelphia World Championship public speaking. But there is something which makes me distinct from the other speakers, and that is something which I carry as a pride. My ambition, my patience, my discipline, my zest, and these are some of the things which I feel, these are the things which make me distinct from other orators or leaders who are going there on the stage. So just imagine, while I was coming to this venue, I was traveling by a car, and I felt that even cars tells you a story. Even no matter how beautiful or gorgeous your car may be, unless it has engine, it has fuel, unless it has good wheels, it won't be able to drive, or there won't be any movement or momentum. Similarly, no matter how gorgeous, charming, and your presence may be on the stage, but still you have to understand, you have to have ambition, patience, zest, discipline, and all good words in the Oxford Dictionary, and you should have them for moving ahead and progressing in your life. So that was the car theory which I found. But during my initial days in Toastmasters, back in 2015, when I was first introduced to the Toastmasters program, I was home trapped, I would say. Anyone confused about what home trapped is? So I was there in my own club, just like you are in your own club. I was home trapped. My own club is Nagaro Icons, that's a corporate club, and I didn't used to come out of that comfortable zone I was put in. And I used to stay inside my club, just compete with the same little audience, just present my speech in front of them. But when I got an opportunity in year 2020 to compete at the district level table topics competition, that's when I realized there's a whole lot of competition going on. There are so many leaders, there are so many people whom you can seek mentorship from. And that's when I realized that you have to move out of your comfort zone to feel where do you stand and what are the challenges you have been facing in your clubs itself, and make sure you come out of it. So the very first thing you have to understand is, one, the car theory, that you have to keep moving, you have to have the right adjectives in your whole ambition, discipline, patience, but along with that you also need to come out of your comfort zone. I'm not asking Mansi that they need to go out of Delhi Toastmasters Club, but they need to understand that they have to come out of your comfort zone for sure. If you think that now that you have achieved something in this club, make sure that you are giving yourself an opportunity to go out and explore. Why? The moment you go out of your comfort zone, that's when you start feeling the heat, pressure, the uncomfortable situations. You will be sitting in a club where everyone is like bonding as a friend, as a brother, as a sister, and you are just sitting there alone. Although in Toastmasters meeting, this is not what we make people realize. We make them part of the family, right? But still, on the very first day, you'll feel the heat. You'll feel that I am not someone who belongs here. The very first time you go on stage in that uncomfortable situation, you feel that exactly these people are like strangers. For how am I going to speak in front of them? And these are the moments you have to cherish and make sure the right attitude comes out. You must have faced such things as a keynote speaker or maybe as a career coach. But this is something which you are not doing on day-to-day basis. Just try to put yourself out. Ab Hindi sabko aati hai. Is there anyone who is not comfortable with Hindi? Alright. So ये जो प्रेशर है इनको आप ऐसा समझिए कि ये बारिश की बूंदों की तरह है. बारिश की बूंदें आजकल बारिश बहुत बुरी है इन दिल्ली. So just try to draw an analogy with these drops of rain that अगर हम इसको बारिश की बूंद मान के चल रहे हैं तो कभी कभी ना बारिश की बूंदों में थोड़ा सा भीग लेना चाहिए. तो ये जो बारिश की बूंदें प्रेजेंस प्रेशर जो भी आपको फील कर रहा है जस्ट मेक श्योर कि आप थोड़ा सा इन बारिश की बूंदों में भीग लें क्योंकि बहुत दूर से आ रही हैं आपको गले लगाने के लिए. दी स्मॉल वर्ड्स व्हिच हिमानी टॉक्ड अबाउट, you are going to cherish these moments for your life. Make sure you are embracing these moments and put yourself in at most uncomfortable situation as possible. Right now while I'm standing here, it doesn't mean in my left pocket I'm not carrying nervousness. In right pocket I'm not carrying any underconfident element. I am, and I'm really proud of it that still after carrying those heavy weights in left and right pockets of mine, I'm still standing here in front of you because I accept the matter of fact that I'm not a great orator, but I'm a decent speaker, I'm a decent leader, I'm a decent presenter, I'm a decent motivational speaker. I don't vouch for it, right? But what I am good at is I want to learn on certain few aspects of my life while I'm growing leaps and bounds. In the past few years, I must have been something else in 2015, and right now in 2025, I might be something else. So people who must have seen the whole transformation altogether in these many years, they might understand where exactly I'm coming from and where I'm right now. But who you are looking at right now, that is a transformed version of myself. And right now while I'm standing here, I'm standing actually on the ashes of the previous versions of mine. I have walked through that hell and made sure that I own that hell while I'm walking through. And why I'm calling that as hell? Because it's actually hell when you start seeing yourself bad in so many different things. When I saw it bad, it's not just about the oratory journey. In leadership journey, it is very important. When you are talking to someone, you have to make the other person feel the warmth in that discussion which you are having. You have to be humble. If you say something wrong to Tushar, or if you say, "Yaar, aisa mere ko bol diya," right? But you have to understand, this is exactly not what I meant, or you took it in a wrong way, right? But as a leader, you have to understand there are so many things you have to probably work on yourself, your attitude, the way you carry yourself, the way even you dress, right? It becomes difficult to even like wear a suit and coming out in a keynote speech, sweating all out and standing in front of it. But what you have to understand, what you see in my eyes right now, this is not kind of an attitude or guru, right? I'm not carrying any guru for standing here after 10 or 11 years of my transformation journey. I'm standing here because I've worked on myself. And I want each one of you to probably work on yourself. If Toastmasters provides you that platform, just embrace it and make sure that you're using every minute which is spent here. Again Hindi. तो तिनका पता है ना, तिनका क्या होता है, राइट? तो तिनका जोड़ के अपने आप को मैंने तैयार किया है, राइट? तिनका जोड़ के मैंने अपने आप को तैयार किया है. ये जो आंखों में आप थोड़ा सा गुरूर देख रहे हैं, इसको मेरा अभिमान मत समझना कहीं से भी. ये कोई बल की जवानी नहीं है जो ढल जाएगी. I have worked on myself a lot for so many years. These are some of the transformations which I have done. But ऐसा नहीं है कि that I realized all of a sudden that I am like having so many shortcomings in my life. While I was growing up, during my schoolings, there was only one tuition which I probably opted for. Neither it was maths, science, SST or any other subject. It was English. It was actually English. I studied in a Kendriya Vidyalaya and a A4 school, and वहाँ पर इतने English का ऐसा कुछ था नहीं. For the very first time I went to a private school. All of a sudden in class 10 my father was posted to Shillong, and that's when I realized वहाँ पर हिमानी जैसे बच्चे थे अच्छे बोलते थे वहाँ पर English में, and there were so many others as well, and they were like speaking so good in English. वहाँ पर jokes भी जो crack कर रहे हैं ना वो English में crack कर रहे हैं, and I was coming out. My father was along with me. I said क्या हो रहा है, मतलब I said मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है वहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, and that's a very different culture which I feel. And that's for the very first time I took on an English tuition, leaving everything aside. No maths, no chemistry. I studied everything else, but English का tuition लगाया. But that is something you have to identify your weaknesses and starting working on where you are lacking, right? There are so many other fears also which probably I must have faced in my entire journey so far. आप लोग भी करते होंगे, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि there is something very different I must have done in my life. You also must have done something so overwhelming that could be a motivational subject or a matter to someone else. But while I am standing here, I will take that moment to probably talk about certain few things. I could not write a lot, but now I am in a position where I am writing a book myself, and the topic is conversation after buy. That is a very different, unique topic which I felt while I was writing. 6 chapters already written, 4 more to go. And these are some of the good discussions which I have with people like you, and those go in that particular diary, and the best ones go at all the subject or a chapter. I wrote lyrics of a particular song that is digitally launched way back in Mumbai, and Preetham was there. I used to meet with him. He was, as the assistant composer was Ranojit Bhattacharya. He is an IFA award winner. So these are some of the experiences which I carry. I used to smoke a lot way back in 2017. I left and quit smoking, and I had a fear of altitude. तो वो altitude test करने के लिए वहाँ से मैंने क्या किया, I went to Everest Base Camp to go out and climb, and I just wanted to check that out. कि boss exactly आपको भी जाना है, I can tell you. So these are some of the things which it's like I'm not posting about it, I'm not being pompous about it, but you have to understand where you are lacking. Till the time you are not identifying your fears, not working on them, there is no point in like just sitting back, relaxed. यार मैं तो ये कर ही नहीं सकता हूँ. There is no point. I'm just born with this particular deficit in my life. I have fear of heights. I have fear of rafting. I mean right now I'm in that phase of life कि just आने दो. मतलब after getting married, I feel like इससे बड़ा कुछ bring it on. So that's what recently while I was there in Anaheim, Atlanta, I even thought about going for skydiving, and my family was like, "Bhai, maaf kar de, ho gaya." And like just stay like a dad, like a grown up now, and there is so many other things you can do, then just leave these things. But you have to understand that nothing changes in a day. While you are in that journey, I learned a few things from Tushar, that how you can be on stage and like smile and keep others also motivated. I like the way how Himani presented her emotions, and I felt here कि अब रो देगी. It was like on the verge of her emotions, right? So as an audience also, you learn a lot from the speakers who are there on stage. So even if you are not doing anything in the meeting today, it doesn't mean that you are not learning anything. So Toastmasters does provide you. I'm not like talking about an experience of rags to riches, but probably it's about when you are here, utilize every penny you have spent in the Toastmasters membership. Even if you are coming as a guest, there is no harm in it. At least I can say for it, right? Just go ahead and start coming as a guest. Just see how others are performing. Learn few things. If you think that now you are ready to go on stage, first of all, it is a myth that people feel कि अब मैं ready हूँ, आप कभी ready होते ही नहीं हो. That you have to just put yourself in that situation. You never know how strong a tea bag is. Tea का ही bag होता है ना, वो चाय वाले लोग tea में देने आते हैं, right? You have to understand, you never know how strong that tea bag is unless you dip that in a hot water. So you have to put yourself in a very difficult, uncomfortable situation to understand how strong you are. And the day you realize, now that I have done it, I have walked the talk, you will feel accomplished, and that feeling, trust me, is more emotional than anything else. Once you reach that level, right now I think I can be in that position that I talk to other people and feel the deficit in their life where they are failing, and if I can contribute something and something positive comes out of it, nothing like it. So I just embrace the situations. I would not take too much time of yours. I think I have taken already, but just understand that this is my story. The world is waiting for your story as well. And in next 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, this completely depends on you, how fast you would like to go. There are so many things you will face. Professionally, आपको दिक्कत आएंगी. Personally, आपको दिक्कत आएंगी. There are so many challenges you will feel, right? But you have to decide whether you want to change from where you are right now, or you have to accept it, or you just have to like relax and chill in life. Everything is fine till the time that 30 ml changes from your peg glass to a glass of milk. You have to become from a boy to a man or a girl to a woman. The day you get that maturity, that understanding, you will realize that there are so many stories you can share with others, and not only just share with others, probably listen to their stories as well and learn something good out of it. No one would like to waste their Sundays, right? No one would like to waste their weekends listening to someone else's story. Why to listen to someone else's story? Create your own and come back here, present your speeches and keep delivering speeches. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम सोचते हैं कि परफेक्ट स्पीच तैयार करेंगे तभी हम देंगे. Don't get into that trap. There is no perfect speech. There is no. आज भी मैंने जो डिलीवर किया कोई perfect speech थोड़ी है. It's just like I said few words in English and Hindi, right? There is nothing perfect. In fact, ऐसा भी नहीं है कि मैंने कुछ तैयार किया है, right? मानसी, I think we were having a discussion some time back. You have to understand कि यहाँ पर जो लोग आते हैं, जॉन एरिया ने बहुत सही बात कही थी, and I think I somehow to relate to it, कि बड़ी बड़ी बातें सब करते हैं बड़ी बड़ी बातें. मेरे जैसे दो और आएंगे, बड़ी बड़ी बातें करेंगे, बट आपको जो सबसे ज़्यादा चीज़ सिखाती है वो होते हैं हाथ से. आपकी लाइफ में जो एक्चुअल वो हाथ से करते हैं ना, दोस्त टेल यू. एंड आई वोंट से दैट कमिंग हियर एंड फेलिंग. इट वाज माय 6th speech. I went on stage and it was pitch black, dark. I could not see the audience in front of me. Nothing really happened. And that day I came, went back, sat there. अभी मुझे वहाँ पर बैठ के इतना uncomfortable लग रहा था. I was like कि people should not feel that heat while they are on stage. कि कोई uncomfortable ना हो जाए कि ये सूट पे कोई बंदा ऐसे बैठ के आया है. I could see some of the people getting nervous. So that should not be the case. Don't get nervous. It's completely fine. No one is judging you. We are here to provide utmost experience which is in good in nature and try to learn something from you and also give you an opportunity that you also can learn from us. So that's all I would like to share. I would like to hand it over to you.